No one could have imagined a storm this big. Fans are still in shock, and social media is on fire as explosive reports are emerging that could destroy one of Love and Hip Hop's most beloved couples forever. We're talking about Yandy Smith and Mendeecees Harris, whose marriage, once seen as strong, unshakable, and full of loyalty, is now hanging by a thread. A relationship that looked perfect on camera, a partnership that fought through years of trials and separations, is suddenly facing its darkest moment yet. And the person at the center of this shocking revelation is none other than Tasha. According to Tasha, Mendeecees lost control during a heated argument, slapped Yandy across the face, and even threatened her with chilling words that no wife should ever hear. Tasha claims, "I saw it with my own eyes. Yandy's life is in danger." With a statement this bold, the entire Love and Hip Hop community is rattled. Fans are asking themselves, is this just a rumor fueled by jealousy and drama? Or is Yandy truly trapped in a marriage that has now turned dangerous? One thing is certain, this story has only just begun, and the fallout could change everything. The tension had been simmering for weeks, and those close to Yandy could sense something wasn't right. She had always been the one to hold her family together, smiling in public even when the cameras weren't rolling. But this time, the cracks were impossible to hide. Whispers started spreading that arguments between her and Mendeecees were becoming more frequent, more heated, and far more dangerous than anyone could have expected. People close to the couple said that small disagreements about finances and family responsibilities suddenly exploded into shouting matches that left everyone in the house uneasy. Tasha stepped forward, insisting she couldn't stay silent anymore. She claimed that what happened behind closed doors was far worse than what fans saw on screen. According to her, Mendeecees' temper had spiraled out of control during one particular fight, and that's when he raised his hand against Yandy. Tasha described the moment with chilling detail, saying she heard the sharp sound of a slap echo through the room, followed by Yandy's stunned silence. She swore it was real, not exaggerated, not taken out of context. Her exact words were, "I saw it with my own eyes and I knew right there, Yandy wasn't safe." Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Social media erupted instantly, with thousands of comments flooding timelines within minutes. Many defended Yandy, expressing heartbreak that she might be facing such a situation. Others refused to believe it, saying it didn't match the image they had of Mendeecees. But the weight of Tasha's words made it impossible to ignore. She wasn't just anybody throwing accusations around. She was someone who had been close enough to witness it. Those who knew the couple personally said that Yandy had been unusually quiet lately, avoiding certain public appearances and speaking less on social platforms. Insiders claimed that she had confided to close friends that she was afraid of what might come next. One insider even said, "She's terrified. She feels like she can't breathe in her own home anymore. The man she once trusted with her whole life now feels like a threat." What made the situation even more shocking was the history Yandy and Mendeecees shared. Fans remembered how she stood by his side when he faced legal troubles, how she fought to keep the family together during his time away, and how loyal she remained even when it would have been easier to walk away. That loyalty had always been her trademark, the thing that made her stand out among other reality TV stars. To imagine her now feeling trapped and unsafe with the same man was almost unbearable for fans to process. Tasha insisted this wasn't a one-time incident. She suggested that there had been multiple arguments escalating to the point where Yandy felt cornered. "She's covering it up," Tasha claimed, "because she doesn't want to look weak, but the truth is, her marriage is hanging by a thread." These words spread like wildfire, igniting debates across fan forums, blogs, and podcasts dedicated to love and hip-hop. Some argued that Tasha was exaggerating for attention, while others said no one would dare make such a claim unless it held weight. The bigger question remained unanswered. What exactly pushed Mendeecees to such extremes? People speculated endlessly. Some thought it was money. Others whispered about possible infidelity. And a few suggested that the pressure of maintaining a perfect public image was finally breaking them apart. Whatever the reason, the focus stayed on the frightening possibility that Yandy's life was now in danger. An emotional storm followed. Supporters of Yandy began posting messages online with hashtags calling for her to prioritize her safety. Fans wrote things like, protect Yandy at all costs, and she deserves better than this. Meanwhile, critics of Mendeecees flooded his posts with angry comments, demanding explanations and accountability. The couple, however, remained silent, letting the rumors spiral unchecked. The silence only fueled the drama. People wanted answers, but all they got were whispers and Tasha's repeated statements. She said, "People think I'm stirring up mess, but I couldn't live with myself if something happened to Yandy and I kept quiet. She's in danger. You can feel it when you're around them. The love is gone, and what's left is anger." Family members reportedly tried to step in. Some of Yandy's relatives were said to be urging her to take time away from Mendeecees for her own safety. One source claimed that her friends had even suggested she move out temporarily, just to have space to think and breathe without the constant tension. But leaving wasn't easy for Yandy. Her children, her history with Mendeecees, and her commitment to keeping the family whole weighed heavily on her mind. The conflict inside her heart was heartbreaking. On one side was the fear of what Mendeecees might do next. On the other was the hope that the man she loved could change. She kept replaying moments in her head, times when they laughed together, when they dreamed about the future, when they promised never to let anything tear them apart. But the image of him raising his hand against her shattered those memories like glass. Through it all, fans noticed subtle signs. Her smiles looked forced in recent photos. Her tone sounded less confident in interviews. Small details that once would have gone unnoticed now seemed like clues to a bigger truth. Everyone wanted to know, was Yandy quietly crying out for help? Or was this just another exaggerated storyline designed to keep viewers hooked? The drama reached such intensity that even fellow cast members started to whisper. Some were reportedly siding with Tasha, saying they too had noticed something off between Yandy and Mendeecees. Others defended the couple, insisting that private arguments didn't always mean danger. But the shadow of that one slap, that one threat, loomed too large to ignore. With every passing day, the pressure built higher. Fans demanded clarity. Blogs dug deeper, and Tasha kept repeating her warning. Yandy's marriage is over, and her life is at risk if nothing changes. The weight of those words lingered, echoing through every discussion, every video, every podcast. The once celebrated couple was now at the center of one of the most shocking scandals love and hip-hop had ever seen. As the buzz grew louder, the couple's silence started to look less like dignity and more like guilt. Fans kept refreshing their feeds, waiting for Yandy or Mendeecees to say something, anything, to shut down the storm. But the longer they stayed quiet, the more people believed Tasha's words. It was as if every hour without a statement added fuel to the fire, convincing everyone that something dangerous was really happening behind closed doors. Tasha, meanwhile, refused to back down. In a heated conversation with friends, she said, "People can hate me all they want, but I know what I saw. I saw fear in Yandy's eyes, and you can't fake that kind of fear." She insisted that her loyalty was to the truth, not to protecting anyone's reputation, and her insistence made the story even harder to dismiss. Rumors swirled about what triggered the violent outburst. Some sources claimed it started with finances, arguments about how money was being handled, with Yandy accusing Mendeecees of hiding things. Others whispered it was about another woman, though no one had solid proof. But what shocked people most was Tasha's claim that during the fight, Mendeecees not only slapped Yandy, but also hissed under his breath. "Next time, it'll be worse." Those chilling words echoed across the internet. Fans posted them again and again, dissecting their meaning. Podcasts replayed them in dramatic tones. YouTube channels built entire episodes around them. And comment sections exploded with debates. Some said it was just an exaggeration meant to destroy Mendeecees' reputation, while others argued no one would invent something so specific unless it really happened. For Yandy, the weight of the whispers was unbearable. Friends claimed she had started avoiding calls and staying home more, choosing silence over explanations. Insiders close to her said she was caught in an emotional war, torn between protecting her marriage and protecting herself. One friend reportedly said, "She feels like if she leaves, it'll destroy her family, but if she stays, she might lose herself." In the middle of all this chaos, fans noticed that her kids were missing from recent posts. Usually, Yandy loved sharing little moments of motherhood, But suddenly, those glimpses disappeared. People wondered if she was keeping her children away from the tension, or if she simply couldn't find the strength to pretend everything was fine anymore. The silence from Mendeecees was even more suspicious. Those who had followed his journey for years knew he wasn't one to stay quiet when his name was dragged through the mud. His refusal to defend himself this time looked to many like an unspoken confession. If he didn't do it, why wouldn't he just say so? One fan tweeted, "His silence says everything." Yet there were still defenders. Some fans clung to the idea that this was just another love and hip-hop storyline designed for ratings. They argued that the show had a history of blowing up arguments into headline-worthy scandals. Maybe, they said, this was just another exaggerated fight, filmed with dramatic edits, meant to keep viewers hooked. But others pushed back hard, reminding them that this time it wasn't the show stirring the pot. It was Tasha, someone who had nothing to gain by inventing such a dangerous story. Tasha doubled down. In one heated exchange, she said, "People think I'm trying to be messy, but I'd rather be messy than let my friend end up in a coffin." Yandy doesn't want to admit it, but this isn't about love anymore. It's about survival. Her words were so heavy that they left even skeptics unsettled. As the days passed, insiders claimed family members tried to mediate behind the scenes. Some encouraged counseling, others begged Yandy to step away for her safety. But those who knew her best said she was still holding out hope that the man she once loved could be saved from his own anger. She told a friend, "I don't want to believe he's that person. I don't want to believe the man I built a life with could hurt me." But belief couldn't erase what had happened. The slap, the words, the fear. They lingered in every room of their home like shadows that refused to leave. Tasha claimed she had seen Yandy break down in tears, whispering, "What if he really means it next time?" Those words haunted everyone who heard them, leaving no doubt that something was terribly wrong. The public began demanding action. Hashtags trended, calling for networks to intervene, for producers to protect Yandy, and for Mendeecees to face consequences if the claims were true. Blogs carried headlines like "Fans fear for Yandy's life" and "Is this the end of love and hip-hop's power couple?" The story had grown too big to be ignored, and still, the couple stayed silent. Behind the scenes, other cast members reportedly started choosing sides. One insider revealed that a few castmates told producers they didn't feel safe filming around Mendeecees anymore. Another said that Yandy's close circle wanted her to take the kids and leave immediately. The division in the cast mirrored the division in the fan base. Some wanted to believe in redemption, others demanded accountability. And still, the mystery deepened. No photos of the couple together surfaced, no statements were released, and no one seemed willing to clear the air. Each day without answers felt like another step closer to an irreversible end. The silence was broken only by more whispers, more speculation, more stories. One particularly shocking claim suggested that Mendeecees had smashed a glass during another fight, sending shards flying across the room. Though unconfirmed, the rumor added to the fear that the situation was spiraling out of control. Fans begged Yandy to speak up, to tell her side before it was too late. But Yandy's voice remained missing, replaced only by her silence, her absence, and the heavy shadow of what Tasha swore she had seen. The image of a once strong couple standing together against the world now seemed like a distant memory. What fans saw instead was a woman possibly trapped in a marriage that had turned dangerous, and a man who refused to deny the accusations that threatened to destroy him. The drama had reached a boiling point, and everyone was waiting for the next move. The storm around Yandy and Mendeecees had become impossible to escape. Every blog, every gossip page, and every trending thread was filled with speculation about what really happened behind their closed doors. It wasn't just about love and hip-hop anymore. It had turned into a cultural conversation about loyalty, safety, and the thin line between love and control. Tasha's claims kept echoing louder. She said in one interview-style conversation with friends, "The way he looked at her that night chilled me. I've never seen eyes like that. It wasn't anger, it was rage. Pure rage. And when he slapped her, it wasn't just physical, it was a message. Like he wanted her to know he could do worse." The detail in her words shook people who heard them. They felt too raw to be fabricated, too sharp to be invented just for drama. Fans began dissecting old clips of the couple, pulling up footage from past seasons and interviews. They analyzed body language, paused frames, and slowed down moments where Yandy seemed uncomfortable. Small gestures that once seemed meaningless suddenly took on new significance. A hand pulled away too quickly, a glance that looked tense, a smile that didn't quite reach the eyes. Everything became evidence in the court of public opinion. The online frenzy only deepened Yandy's isolation. Sources claimed she was refusing to answer questions even from close friends, afraid that any word she said would find its way back to the public. One insider described her as a prisoner of her own silence, trapped between the need to protect her image and the fear of confirming Tasha's horrifying claims. Mendeecees' silence was no less disturbing. Those close to him insisted that he was furious behind the scenes, convinced that Tasha had crossed a line. One source whispered, "He feels betrayed, like she broke the code by airing their business. He says she'll regret it." Those words, when they leaked, only added to the tension. If true, they hinted at a man more concerned with control and reputation than with clearing his name. The family, caught in the middle, was torn apart. Yandy's relatives were reportedly urging her to walk away for good, while Mendeecees' side insisted that he was being set up, painted as a villain by someone with ulterior motives. The children, too young to understand, were said to be asking questions that broke everyone's hearts. "Mommy, are you okay?" One source claimed Yandy's child asked after hearing raised voices in the house. The emotional stakes couldn't be higher. This wasn't just about a marriage anymore. It was about survival, safety, and the scars that come when love turns dangerous. In private, according to Tasha, Yandy broke down and whispered fears she never wanted to say out loud. "I don't recognize him anymore," she allegedly told her friend. "The man I fell in love with is gone. Now I just see someone who wants to control me, no matter the cost." The pain in those words, if true, was unbearable to imagine. Social media kept demanding answers. Hashtags like Protect Yandy and Justice for Yandy trended, with fans posting messages of support. At the same time, a darker corner of the internet defended Mendeecees, claiming he was the victim of a smear campaign. The division mirrored the chaos inside their home. Half the world wanted him punished. The other half couldn't believe he was capable of such cruelty. Then came another twist. Reports surfaced that during a family gathering, things escalated again. A witness claimed that a shouting match broke out when Yandy confronted Mendeecees about his behavior, and he allegedly slammed his fist into the table, shattering glasses and leaving everyone stunned into silence. While no one could confirm every detail, the rumor was enough to send shockwaves online. Fans debated endlessly. Was this proof that Tasha had been telling the truth all along, or just another story blown out of proportion by people eager to stir drama? Yet, the silence from the couple kept everyone guessing. Every day without an official statement became another day when the rumors felt more like reality. The producers of Love and Hip Hop reportedly grew concerned. Some insiders whispered that they debated whether to address the situation in the upcoming season. Others feared that putting it on camera could push an already volatile situation over the edge. Still, for fans, the silence was unbearable. They wanted to see the truth play out, no matter how painful. The heartbreak of it all was the memory of how this relationship began. Fans remembered the loyalty, the sacrifices, the promises of forever. To see it unravel so violently felt like watching a dream collapse in real time. They were supposed to be the couple that survived it all. One longtime viewer tweeted, "If they can't make it, who can?" And still, Tasha kept pressing. She said in a private conversation, "People think I'm exaggerating, but I know what's coming. If she doesn't leave, something worse will happen. You can see it in his eyes. He's not done." Those words haunted everyone who heard them, leaving an unshakable sense of dread. Supporters rallied around Yandy, calling her strong, resilient, and deserving of peace. They begged her through comments and posts to prioritize herself over appearances. Yet her silence remained her shield. No confirmations, no denials, just absence. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that Mendeecees was trying to control the narrative privately, reaching out to allies to protect his image. Insiders claimed he felt humiliated, cornered, and desperate to regain control. But instead of calming the storm, His silence only made it worse. The tension grew unbearable. Fans were convinced a breaking point was near. Either Yandy would finally speak, or Mendeecees would lash out, or Tasha would reveal something even more explosive. The uncertainty kept everyone hooked, waiting for the next shocking twist in a drama that seemed to grow darker by the day. The waiting had turned into agony. Fans refreshed their timelines every hour, desperate for some kind of confirmation. But all they got were whispers and fragments of conversations. The silence from Yandy and Mendeecees had become a thunderclap in itself, a heavy noise that seemed louder than words. The longer they refused to speak, the more convinced people became that something terrifying was unfolding behind the scenes. Tasha's voice grew stronger as the weeks dragged on. In one dramatic conversation with friends, she said, "I don't care if people call me a liar. I know what I saw, and I know what I felt. I saw Yandy tremble in front of him, and I heard her whisper that she didn't feel safe. That is not love. That is survival." Her words spread like wildfire, screenshotted and shared across every platform. The phrase, "not love, survival," became a rallying cry for fans who feared the worst. The tension inside the couple's circle was unbearable. Insiders described heated exchanges between family members, some of whom begged Yandy to leave immediately, while others insisted she stay and work things out. One insider claimed a close friend shouted, "If you don't walk away now, you might not get another chance." The urgency of those words left fans shaken when they leaked online. But Yandy remained silent, and that silence was its own kind of message. One friend said she had stopped defending Mendeecees in private conversations. Instead, she sat quietly, tears slipping down her face, unable to find the words. "She's torn," the friend explained. "Her heart says one thing, her fear says another. She's stuck in a place no one deserves to be." Rumors of another explosive fight emerged. This time, according to one source, neighbors overheard shouting late at night, followed by the sound of something heavy crashing to the floor. While no one could confirm exactly what happened, the story only added to the growing sense that things were spiraling out of control. Social media reacted instantly. Posts read, "We can't lose Yandy," and "If these rumors are true, producers need to step in before it's too late." Some fans even tagged networks, demanding they take responsibility for ensuring her safety. The outcry grew so strong that it started to reach mainstream gossip outlets, spreading beyond the usual fanbase into wider entertainment news. Through it all, Mendeecees' silence became increasingly suspicious. His refusal to deny the allegations, to speak even a single word, looked to many like an unspoken admission. "Innocent people speak up," one fan commented. "Guilty people stay quiet." The weight of that sentiment echoed across platforms, adding pressure to a man who seemed determined to say nothing. But then came the most chilling claim yet. According to Tasha, Yandy confided in her during a private moment, whispering through tears. "He told me if I ever tried to leave, he'd make sure I regret it for the rest of my life." Those words, if true, painted a horrifying picture. They weren't just about control. They were about threats that stretched into the future, warnings that leaving could be even more dangerous than staying. Fans were horrified. Hashtags turned darker, with people demanding justice and safety. Conversations shifted from gossip to genuine concern, with many pleading for intervention. "This isn't just drama anymore," one comment read. "This is life and death." Meanwhile, producers reportedly scrambled behind the scenes. Some insiders claimed meetings were held about how to handle the situation, with debates raging over whether to include it in upcoming episodes. Others feared that exposing it further would only put Yandy in more danger. But no matter what decisions were made, the story was already out of their control. The public had seized it, and there was no pulling it back. As if the tension weren't high enough, whispers began that legal action might be considered. Some said friends urged Yandy to file for protection, while others claimed she was too afraid to make that step. One insider said, "She's scared of what will happen if she does, and scared of what will happen if she doesn't. It's a trap either way." The emotional toll was devastating. Fans saw it in the way her light seemed dimmed in rare appearances, the way her energy had shifted from confident to cautious. Every glimpse of her felt like another clue in a puzzle no one wanted to solve. Mendeecees, for his part, was described by some insiders as increasingly paranoid. He reportedly felt the world turning against him, and his refusal to address the situation only deepened his isolation. He thinks silence will protect him, a source said. But all it's doing is proving Tasha right. The fans, the family, the insiders, everyone seemed to be waiting for one final breaking point. The slap, the threats, the whispers of violence. It all felt like the buildup to something catastrophic. Tasha's final warning cut through the noise like a knife. In a chilling conversation, she said, if she doesn't leave, she might not live to tell her story. I'm saying this now so nobody can claim they didn't know. Yandy's life is in danger. I stand by that with everything in me. Those words hung heavy in the air, replayed over and over in countless posts, videos, and discussions. Whether fans believed her or not, the effect was undeniable. Everyone was watching, everyone was waiting, and everyone feared what might come next. The couple once seen as unshakable, the partnership once held as an example of love surviving hardship, was now at the center of a nightmare. And as the rumors grew darker and the silence stretched longer, one thing became clear. This story wasn't ending anytime soon. The question on everyone's mind was no longer about love, loyalty, or fame. It was about survival. Would Yandy find the strength to walk away, or would Mendeecees' silence turn into something even more dangerous? The world held its breath, waiting for the next twist in a story that had already shocked them to their core. This story has shaken fans to the core, leaving more questions than answers. What really happened between Yandy and Mendeecees behind those closed doors? Was it truly a moment of uncontrollable rage? Or is this all a dangerous rumor spiraling out of control? The slap, the threats, and the silence have created an atmosphere of fear and suspicion that refuses to fade. Tasha's voice has been the loudest through it all, standing firm in her claim that Yandy's life is in danger. Her words have carried weight, igniting debates across social media and pushing fans to look at this couple in a way they never have before. The image of love and loyalty that once defined them now feels fractured, replaced by shadows of doubt and fear. What remains most haunting is the silence. Neither Yandy nor Mendeecees has come forward to confirm or deny the storm of allegations. And sometimes silence can speak louder than words. Until the truth comes out, fans are left on edge, wondering if the marriage they once admired has truly reached its breaking point. But now it's your turn. What do you believe? Do you think Tasha's shocking claims are true? Or is this just another chapter of love and hip-hop drama taken too far? Are we witnessing the tragic end of a marriage? Or just the storm before reconciliation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear every opinion. And if you don't want to miss the next explosive update, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Trust us, the next twist in this story could drop any moment, and you won't want to be the last to know. You won't want to be the last to know.